read what you want. Read what you enjoy reading. And don't let anybody shame you for it. I clapped for you as well.
Thank you. Where's recording? Oh my
Take
god.
a quick
What
little...
are you eating?
McDonald's.
Nice. I need to do my eyebrows.
No.
Anyways.
I did my eyebrows yesterday.
Nice. Hi, everyone.
I dyed them.
Welcome.
You get to see my eyes.
You can't even see me on FaceTime. I'm just here.
I can see your hands.
You can see my hands, yeah.
I'm just here for the vibes.
I'm here for the vibe. Yeah. Well, anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, hello, everyone. Welcome back to We Know What You Like. I'm Lucia. Katie,
That's
Katie
Katie,
Mary.
and I'm
Katie
Mary.
Yeah. And,
we have to go in the same order.
yes.
Unwritten rule.
Yeah, Katie and Mary. Today, for the month of April, a little late, but whatever. Well, it was supposed to be.
What do you mean? It's actually kind of early for April.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the March release.
Yeah.
Now it's April.
My fault.
It's fine.
But we decided to read Sword Solo Part 2.
The Ragpicker King.
Every time I see this, I'm like, the rat picker.
The Rat Picker King.
The rat picker.
We met her.
We did.
Again.
Again.
I was not part of that shindig this time, though.
Get wrecked. Not everyone can be a part of the Cool Kids Club.
It was honestly a pretty cool event. I liked where it was.
Where was that?
Yeah. And Holly Black was there.
It was in like a little cabaret space in a theater, which was kind of fun.
Nice.
There was an open bar. Well, not an open bar. There was a cash bar.
Yeah, a cash bar. But they served alcohol, and we
They
could
did.
have partook if we weren't... Well, we weren't driving home that night.
We weren't driving home. I just figured I didn't really want to pay $20 for a mixed drink.
Yeah, it was probably going to be real expensive, so...
Worth it.
Pie.
Anyways, yeah, we read book 2 of this
Is that a
series.
cherry?
Do y'all know how many
Cherry.
books
It's,
are
like,
supposed to
berry
be in
and
the
cream.
series?
It's currently slated for 4.
4?
Only 4? Okay. I was going to say 3, and then I was like, no, maybe it's 5.
No,
I'm wrong.
Pretty confident she said it was slated for 4 at the release.
Do y'all know, okay, how do y'all want to start this? The basic plot? There's different...
In true fashion, you finished it last.
I finished it
So
this morning.
you remember the most.
I was gonna say, I remember quite a bit, but the 2 biggest things in my head are the 2 biggest reveals at the end of the book. So
That's probably the only thing I could remember. Though you can't ask me anything about this book. I texted Katie throughout the entire thing, was like, what's happening? She'd explain, because I tell her where I was. She'd be like, yeah, this is happening. I'm like, oh, cool. I do know what's going on. I'm just still confused.
The first 45 pages or so was me trying to get my headspace back into that realm. And I'm like, the fuck is going on?
No,
I definitely
literally.
should have reread it. It was a little bit hard to jump back in and remember
But
everything
after
that had
the
occurred.
first 40 or so pages, I'm like, okay. I was like, when did she say she was a goddess for
Yeah, I
for
did start catching up, but
yeah, so the
Some
other
of it is
day,
wild.
we were supposed to record this last week, and I was like, bro, I'm not
Yes.
going to be able to finish this. It's just, my brain was still in Severance mode, which, to be very honest with you, I was actually rewatching Severance before this conversation. If y'all haven't seen it yet,
yeah.
check it out.
I have not.
It's so good. Anyways, but also, I was like, I need to, give this book a proper digestible and not be shit on it because I don't get it. I get it, I just needed to to get back into it, basically. Anyways, yeah, we pick off pretty soon after the events, after a few months after the first book, and we have different plot lines for our characters. We have, for Lynn, she, obviously at the end of the last book, she said that she's basically the goddess reincarnated, and so she has to do a test at some point to prove herself. And so she's dealing with the shit, I said this, but also I said that because I knew that was going to go off sort of situation, but I still have to try and heal my friend sort of situation. And so dealing with that aspect of not only her life, but also her friends, but also trying to stay away, but also because she's falling in love, with the prince and everything, Connors.
As one does.
As one does. And then obviously
she's also kind of like being like outcasted by her people because they don't believe her.
Yeah.
And they're kind of really mean about it. So she's also very isolated at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have Connor. Well, let's get with Kel. He was, at the end of the last book, he was confronted by the King's Guard. Don't remember his name. It was like, hey, I know,
Legate.
Like, so tell me what you know. Work with these people so it's for the betterment of Connor. But don't tell Connor. And he's like, okay, it's for Connor. It's for to protect him. And so, because they have to try and figure out who set up the whole killing of the little princess and her guard and everything that happened in the last episode.
The Red Wedding
because
part
that did in fact happen in the first book. That's about all I remembered happening from the first book. Is that his child betrothed was unalived,
which he didn't know
in front of many people.
I texted you guys this, but obviously the people watching don't know this. I rewatched our first.
They don't have our text stream.
I rewatched our first discussion, and yeah, that was a fun one. It's like we made note that it was a Red Wedding-esque. We made note that Connor got bamboozled with the fact that it was a child bride and he didn't know that, but like anyone could have that title, so they were sneaky about it. But yeah, Connor, for this one, he has to, still get married because for his kingdom, they need money and everything. Right. While still dealing with all the charter houses and all their shenanigans. But,
and he's also had to, like, be pseudo king because his father is just, like,
crazy,
fully gone within his.
Oh, which when we tell you and discuss what's going on with Daddy
Marcus. Daddy Marcus?
Sir King himself? Ooh, what?
Yeah.
So, like, you see... But anyways, at the very beginning of the book, you see an immediate personality shift in Connor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so those are
which
our main
probably is
points.
Part of what threw me off. I was like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because in the beginning of the first book, he's like this party kid.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But then you also have the plot line of the king within the city, which is the Ragpicker King and his crime circle.
Yes.
And the abrupt absence of his counterpart, I guess.
Prosper Beck.
Was Prosper Beck.
Yes.
Oh, we also meet new characters.
We're going to talk about Prosper Beck. I tell you
meet a lot of new characters.
Yes.
There's a pirate.
There's part that probably confused me.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot that happened in this book.
There's a princess.
She confused me the most.
New betrothed, yeah. She has a big old elephant.
No, not the new betrothed. The other princess confused me the most.
The bad one?
Difference.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a difference.
There's two princesses.
Yeah.
There sure was.
However, the princess that he's trying to marry in this book really pulled a fast one on him.
No, literally.
Another one pulled a fast one on him.
Another
because she's a little too smart.
Yeah.
I still don't know
actually, I'm gonna run away with a pirate. Bye.
Like, how does she know all that stuff? Like, obviously she has spies and she was like given a map and but I'm like, who the fuck works in his kingdom? Like, in his area to tell her all these things. Like, is it just the fact that her brother?
Best spies in the world.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, these people are good. It was giving.
They knew too much.
It was giving, that one book that we read with all the sisters.
Actually, you know what? I bet you, because her pirate lover knew Prosper Beck.
Yeah,
that's probably where all of her information came from.
Prosper Beck out here.
2.0 Prosper Beck. I mean, was it that surprising to you guys? Like, on a scale of 1 to 5?
Yes, part? But because I had written her off.
Oh, Prosper Beck.
Oh, no, I didn't written her off.
I was like, no, she's being fucking dumb.
We're talking about her. Okay.
She thinks she's gonna win her charter and her husband's. I was just like, she doesn't know what she's doing. I had written her off entirely.
Yeah, I didn't feel that way at all. Because, like, for me, like, okay, we're talking about, what the fuck's her name starts with an A? Angela.
Antonetta.
Yeah. So in the first book, how many times did Kel say, in particular, oh, she used, hold on. Hero just texted me. How many times did Cal say in the first book in particular, like, oh, she uses a facade. She's smarter than she is. She's doing that. She's hiding who she is. She's playing dumb.
Mhm.
He said that so many times. He said it so many times in this book too. Hold on. Let me text Hero back. You know what I mean?
She was still kind of dumb, though.
No, I didn't feel that way at all.
Listen, by the time we got to the end, I realized that she's my favorite character.
I think maybe the moment when I was just like, no, get out of my face, was probably when she tried to use Kel for his body.
I actually thought, you know what? Good for you, sis.
Like, I understood what she was trying to do, but like, she is so aware that Kel, in fact, actually loves her, and she was like, "Do this for me."
And
I'm like, no, get the fuck out.
I mean, like, I actually think she likes him too.
No, she definitely
does.
But
it's like the status is, and then also going back, because this was even before her and Kel, that situation when she was talking to Connor about like what I want to do. I'm like, oh.
Okay, right. So that was part of it too. I was like, okay, she has this grand scheme where she ends up with both charters and she can't hold both charters. So she heavily implies that Connor would give the charter, the T charter,
to who
to
he
Kel,
wants to,
so that they could be together. So I was like, oh, she just has this massive like romance plot that's not going to work for her because there's no way Artel's just gonna die. Like, it's not gonna happen.
And then the fact that she was like, oh, I'm going to the they're called the mines, or, you know, like the underground mines and stuff.
Oh,
I was like, okay, well, clearly.
The tunnels.
And then at some point before even that, I think it was before that, she said, oh, I knew Prosper Beck. He taught me as a child. I'm like, well, clearly.
Well, so that was a red flag, and then I was just like, no. I like immediately dismissed all of it. I was like, oh, you're waving these flags in my face? I don't see them.
I think they're green.
That. I think
green means go, right?
Actually, what's red?
Loving him was red. Oh, speaking of red flags, thank you. Speaking of red flags, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I saw it today, so I feel like you would appreciate this conversation topic for a hot second. Did you see that Twilight is going back in theaters, but with an orchestra, like concert?
I sure did. I shared that on my
book.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to go.
I literally saw it the second it was posted. I tell you what, dude. I'm like, what? Why are you going everywhere but directly my town?
They're coming to San Diego, dude.
You're like multiple hours away.
That's not that far away.
Buffalo, Rochester, and some other place.
Rochester's not that
If you
bad.
go to Buffalo, make sure to throw things at the Bill
you
stuff.
Come with me?
Of course. That's all. That's why else do you go to Buffalo?
To see the Jonas Brothers, maybe?
No. You go to throw stuff at Bill's.
Yeah. Anyways, going back to the book, I saw that earlier and I was like, well, perfect. I saw it today. Get to bring it up, you know, to them. It'll be perfect combo, you know. Anyways, going back. So no, I was not necessarily surprised because they were leading up, but because again, I went back and saw our first video, and at the end, I was convinced that Prosper Beck was actually Cal, which would have been Cal's childhood friend from the orphanage.
Oh yeah, yes, I remember.
I was
that.
like, it's definitely not Cal.
So I did think that, and so I was wrong on that front. So
it's okay. I fully thought the goddess was going to be Marin or whatever her name is. Not Marin's a different character.
Miriam,
her friend.
Yeah, her friend Miriam that she's trying to save. I was like convinced.
Everybody
she was
mark
going to
their
become
calendars right now. Lucia just remembered a character name.
Today is April 9th. It is 6:16 in the evening afternoon.
Honestly, I think with this whole book, I got really enraptured in both Lynn's story and whatever the hell was going on with the king, because it was so like grasping at straws for such a really long time, because you weren't getting the Malgassi history until very, very late in the book.
Should I bring up the things?
So like I wanted to like know.
Okay, so I think what will help this discussion kind of is bring up the things that we discussed in the first one, because they obviously tie into this one. Okay, firstly, we're like, okay, what the hell? Towards the end of the, of the first book, obviously we saw Marcus, his dad, able to like toss that one guard, Brianna Tarth-esque guard, to the wall and kill her and everything. And then, so Mary said maybe he's possessed by magic, like possessed, like someone's controlling him. I thought, what if he actually has magic? Okay. Yeah. And then we also talked about...
Joke's on you, he is magic.
Because we even brought up the fact that he, like, this was like a collective moment, like thought process with this one, where it's like, we even thought that wherever he went as a child, it clearly affected him. Right. So we literally said that in the discussion. And then we also discussed what are the different amulets that are being used. And I even mentioned, I was like, what are about the other stones, power stones, I forgot exactly what they're called, are in existence. I was like, the one that Lynn has is still around. What about the other ones?
Right.
So
it turns out they're just embedding them in their necks.
Which gives Shadow and Bone.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I just remember reading that and I was like, grotesque. Don't like it.
Which, with this book more, I'm like, why are they giving, and I said this in the first one too, I was like, but especially in this one, I was like, they're giving the crows from Shadow and Bone. Like the whole Ragpicker crew, they're giving the crow crew.
Right, yeah. I get it. That's kind of like their whole, I want to know more about Jan's past. I do remember thinking that.
Well, we know that she killed of the family member of the girl that she loved because I think that she died.
Right.
From my
we did get some of her like lore, but like I like her a lot as a character. Yeah.
So
also, can we just talk about the fact that like I'm skipping all over the place. I really love that Marin's sister, who was like sexually assaulted by Artel, took matters into her own hands and is the reason that man is dead. Mm-hmm. Like, pop off.
You realize that that's another clue about who Prosper Beck was? How was and whatever her name is, able to get up there?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If she wasn't close to the ladies in that establishment.
Yeah.
I mean, she was well known though. Like she'd go with the boys occasionally.
Yeah. But that's like a trust thing. Fair.
Yeah.
My favorite part of this whole book, which gave me so much anxiety as I was reading it, was the ending where Connor was like, I can't trust any of you bitches.
When he just dismisses everybody and you think he's for real.
Oh my god, he's believing everyone. He's gonna kill Kel.
I like got mad at him and I was like, Connor, what the fuck are you doing?
And then you jump in his head and we're like, you're smart.
It's on purpose. Do you think
I should have waited? Like, you're cooking. I'll let you cook.
What do you think the other? So we know that there's the Phoenix Stone power, right? That's the one that obviously Marcus and then the Bellamy, whatever family, derives their family from. And then we know that the one that Lynn has, it derives from the goddess, right? Or not necessarily.
Well, not necessarily, because King Marcus ends up fueling it for her, which allows her to heal Marion.
Originally, where does that one come from?
Originally, I believe it is Ashkar, because I think the man that gave it to her with a bunch of other Ashkar. I
still think he's alive, by the way. We never saw a body.
It's true. We didn't. No body, no crime.
Yep, we literally said this in the first discussion. We are nothing if not
consistent.
Exactly.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So
when we actually are consistent on recording,
I'm generally curious because, like, we know that, like, the little boy in the Ashkar, the one that was climbing the walls, and he saw, like, the vision of the goddess.
He saw like their auras and stuff.
Yeah, and then once his name, the prince of their people, was that of a crow or a raven or crow, But they kept saying that the power that the Bellamy people is dangerous and evil. Is that saying that because they are that, or is a phoenix power itself dangerous or evil, you think?
I think it's more they're bad. And they also, the Bellamy family stole the phoenix. Yeah. So, like, the power of the phoenix was originally part of the Aurelian family. which is part of the reason that Marcus had been drawn to rescue the Phoenix.
AKA kill it.
When he was in Malga. Yeah. Put it out of its misery. And then he became the Phoenix.
How do you feel about him at the end? You have Connor sitting there, and then you just have his dad staring out the window, and then he just have his claw as him. Just like...
Right? He just like touches it with his talons.
So in the first book, we obviously...
I envisioned it being like that head scratcher thing.
Oh, those are wonderful. In the first book, we obviously got more
that's
lore
his hand.
of the goddesses and how, or the goddess,
Yes.
and how everyone basically spirit bombed their powers and gave it to her, and basically is what happened, DBZ style. But there's also the love story between her and the other guy who was opposing evil and good, basically. And I proposed in the first book discussion how I was like, is that going to be a Lynn and Connor thing? Because
maybe, I mean,
because like what Marcus has, through the lineage, Connor has it too. That's why they're like, that's why his back is able to heal faster, and he had weird things on his hands. But I was like, was that as a dad thing? But I was like, no, maybe that's actually his untapped power thing.
And from my understanding too, that like, what is happening to King Marcus is he is slowly becoming the Phoenix. So like he's not necessarily going to die. He's going to become the Phoenix, and then that gives Connor the magic is how I am understanding it to become.
Yeah, because it's in his blood.
Like,
unless
Connor
he has to kill his dad.
Also going to be a Phoenix. Right. So like the way I'm reading is like Connor himself isn't actually going to become a Phoenix, but he will be able to actually wield magic without the need of those power stones, like in the olden days. Like this is like the reawakening of their magic.
So what do you think? What other kind of mythical creatures do you think we're going to witness? Because they made note of phoenixes and like the big old wolves I think they were talking about. Like,
right. Okay. I feel like because of the times, there's got to be a dragon coming.
Oh, I think they mentioned that too.
Give me a dragon.
Yeah.
Or maybe like a griffin.
Or griffins, unicorns, potentially.
Mm-hmm. I wonder.
I think it's going to be a lot of probably creatures that are based in
mythology,
Middle Eastern mythology, because that's where this world is kind of set in with the Silk Roads and whatnot.
Maybe elephants.
I unfortunately don't know a lot.
Like a mammoth.
I don't. Those aren't mythical creatures.
Oh yeah, they're real.
Those aren't.
They used to exist. Now they've evolved. They're elephants.
And that elephant.
Slay. Side note, did y'all see the thing with the dire wolves? It's not an actual dire wolf, but they medically engineered the gray wolves.
Yeah.
And people are like,
they let them loose.
People are like, yeah, no way this is going to be a bad idea. Nope.
It's fine.
It looks so cute though.
Yeah, he did look really cute. They named him Lupin.
Wow.
There's 3 of them.
With us being on the topic of the Phoenix, I think it's incredibly sad that he's losing his dad.
I do think it's really sad.
Because, like, the Phoenix is...
But also his dad used to beat him, so...
Remember when he got whipped?
Well, I mean...
I do remember when he got whipped.
But, like, the way that the Phoenix interacts with Connor is, like, I'm not your father.
It's very...
But I have a kinship with you.
It's very...
Because you are my blood.
Bran Stark, when he's...
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder, like, how much negative... Like... I still feel like it's going to influence him, not necessarily to be good, but try to sway him for the Phoenix's own game. Like, maybe I'm reading into this because I've seen other things, obviously. But it's like...
the Phoenix is more sentient than just a creature.
Yeah.
Like, it has its own desires.
Yeah, and if he's been locked up for X amount of years, and no matter what, you're going to feel like you're being... Like, you're trapped and everything. And that's going to cause you to have some sort of damage and be like, fuck this. Because I still stand by the fact that it's going to turn into, and maybe it won't be, because this is like a basic thing that could happen. Yo, remember how I told you out there fixing my bathroom? Well, now he's painting, and I'm getting these paint fumes.
Oh, no. She's getting high.
It smells so good. Sorry.
Oh.
Anyways, side note.
Side note of the side note.
So anyways, yeah. Sorry, get it together. I'm like maybe it's not going to happen because it has been done before. But I feel like whatever evil that's going on right now with like the Bellamy, you know, that how like that. I feel like that's not enough.
And I get, yeah, especially because like so far none of their plots have really succeeded.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the princess died, but like that's their biggest win. What they're actually trying to get isn't happening. Like House Aurelian isn't really falling.
Yeah.
But there is this greater plot of like the charter families, and obviously we don't know which ones.
All of them.
Or all of them that are involved.
I say kill them all. I'm just kidding. Kill them all.
Every last one of them.
Give me a dragon and.
But like I do feel like there has to be like something else occurring, and I think
unless
it feels as if both based off of the way this book is going and things that she's set out on tour, that we are going to leave Castellane.
Well, we are
in the next book.
Yeah, because Lynn needs to do the thing.
Yeah. So we're going to see more of the greater world and potentially maybe see that larger evil that's at play.
Do you think they're going to make it to where the Ashgar people are going to go against Castellane?
I think the ultimate end of this book is the reawakening of magic and the Ashgar people getting their land back. Like that is.
Well, I speaking of that, I loved how there was a lot of roots talk, basically. Like we don't have a home, but we have this garden as a promise to our people, to ourselves. And we have Kel be like, I don't even know what the color of my true eye color is anymore. I don't know me. And I shout out to Connor and everyone involved with the necklace. I wonder, and then we discussed that in the first book. Like, what other artifacts are there? They're basically like a Millennium puzzles, Millennium jewels. Think Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. Because we saw a new one in this book, right? Artel's necklace that prevented him from being able to die.
Which came in handy at the end.
It sure did.
When Connor, or Kel fully believes that Connor's here to kill him, so he's in prison because he was framed for, like, conspiring against the crown. When he's like, no, literally everything I did was to protect you. He knows about it. No, I don't.
No, I don't.
It's like, what do you mean, no, you don't?
Do you think...
So he gets thrown in prison, and then he escapes because he can climb, which is something he was taught how to do.
Shout out.
Whatever it was, scaling.
Or crawlers.
Crawlers. He learned how to crawl from...
Jared,
thank you.
Okay.
And he was able to escape and survive that way because he was given a key to unlock his own...
And then at the base of the tower, Connor shows up, slaps a necklace on him and says,
3 seconds. You'll survive. Goodbye. He's like, hello?
Shoves him off the cliff.
Kel's shook. He's like, I'm gonna drown. There's alligators in the water. He can't find the surface. The alligators are coming for him. They're not eating him. He finds the surface. He should have definitely drowned. He gets out of the water. I'm
Jesus.
alive.
He lives.
Jesus. And then we learn that Connor is a smart cookie and is like, yeah, they have to think I'm weak and alone.
But I'm with my Phoenix father. With his...
my Phoenix father.
I'm interested to see how this, like, proposed relationship of Prosper Beck with the Ragpicker King is going to, like, go. Because, like, obviously, nobody actually knows who Prosper Beck is, technically.
Except
because
we do.
Right. Because she's been using a decoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shook that it was a she. Never once did I think it would have been a woman, but also...
No, I was definitely imagining...
It tracks that it should have been a woman.
Very large, like, peg-legged beard pirate man.
Yeah. Like, very, like middle-aged old man.
Yeah.
Kind of, like,
in
his 40s, rugged. Seen a thing or two. Knows a thing or two because he's seen a thing or two.
Also, you ready for this? You ready? Hold on.
That's fine. Yeah.
The bee.
Aw,
the bees. I showed the camera my nails.
Oh, you got bees too? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even notice
really
that. Nice.
That's what I was like, the bees.
Anyways.
I don't know, this book happened.
You want to talk about the real identity of Ragpicker King?
So I called that so early.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's coming back to me now.
But like I don't understand yet why it's important.
Yes, being the son of an Ashgar.
Or just like, Because clearly
Like
they're
the son.
like the Ashkar prince was in love with him. Like that's very obvious.
Didn't get that. I didn't get that.
They were roommates. That's the kind of vibe
He's a child.
They were not
though.
5 feet apart.
They were not. No, he was like an older. They were like teenagers.
Maybe they mean child in a different way.
Anyways, they
All right, you want to make a bet?
Were very close.
I say no. You say yes.
I don't know what's happening.
I say yes. I don't know if we're gonna see them together anymore though, because
I'm sure they're gonna come back.
Are they though?
Yeah. They don't die.
There's a whole plot point
what if they
that you guys
die?
are talking about that I don't understand because there's nothing I picked up on that.
The
only part that I remember from that was that grandfather
also,
came and was like,
"Hey,
my
grandpa also knows a lot more of what's going on.
Yeah,
that man has a lot of intel."
So my thing was,
and I just thought of
when I was reading this,
not the main character. I was like, why does he know things?
When I was reading this, I was thinking, there's no love triangle.
Thank God.
But then I thought, the
Not
amount
yet.
of times that Lynn talks with Aaron, whatever.
I do think there's a tension there.
But
I think it's more one-sided, I'm going to be honest.
I think so too. But I also think because of the way that Lynn's friend talks to Aaron at the end, she's like, "Hey, sir, you're supposed to be doing this, so don't do, Yeah. I was like, them, calling it.
Also, Lynn still is like firmly in the I actually hate Connor mentality, so like they aren't actually lovers yet. They are in fact still enemies.
They were barely lovers in this as well.
It's true, but I really
crumbs
enjoyed
I
that
got.
scene.
I was really into it.
Yo, guys, we've been talking for 30 minutes and we barely brought up the sex. Wow.
Yeah. It's the most we've gotten from her.
Cassandra Clare wrote a sex scene.
Like explicit.
Like a little explicit, yeah.
I mean, for her.
Tell me how you like it.
My thing was all like, "Oh, I'll go first and you follow." What a boy. Someone watched. I do think her medicine worked, or do you think that she could be pregnant?
What was the
Lynn?
So Lynn, because remember he went to see her and be like, you know what he did?
Oh.
He pulled a the fuck's his name? Oh my god, what's his name? He pulled a Benedict Bridgerton. I was like, "Hey, be my mistress."
He did. He really did.
And she's like,
and she almost said yes to it.
She was like, "I want more from you than you're offering." And then by the end of it, she was like, "I will take because I just want any part of you."
I didn't catch that. I didn't get that.
I cannot afford.
I didn't get that vibe.
She didn't. Well, she did that literally to him.
She was going to go say
no,
yes.
I meant like the first part.
He pushed her away.
The first part.
Oh. Of the I want more from you.
I saw it more.
I want all of it or nothing.
I saw it more of I don't want to be like, yes, just that, but it was also her family and her culture and her people.
Yeah, she didn't, because she'd have to be
exiled,
basically exiled.
Yeah, she would be exiled from her life.
Yeah,
and then she ended up exiled anyways.
So then she's like, "I will say yes because it doesn't matter, and at least I'd have a home."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, you betrayed me. I cannot have you in my life."
What is this accent? What is this?
They could have him in his life.
Anyways, they were talking about when he went to go to her house, right? Like when he went to her place. He was basically like, "No, you could be with child." And she said, "I made sure of it. I have a potion." Do you think that potion worked, or do you think like divine?
Oh, for sure.
Divine.
I don't think Cassandra Clare is going to give us an accidental pregnancy.
I don't think we're getting a pregnancy trope.
At least not in book 3. If she's giving me a pregnancy, it better be an epilogue. Otherwise, I won't read the book. No.
Listen, the people have been begging her to like make Jason Clary have a baby, and she refuses. So I don't think it's.
But like, this is a different series.
Maybe it will.
I know it is.
At the end of Wicked Powers,
Jason Clary are also still children. Really?
Yeah, they're like 22. Well, no. How far away is Dark Artifices from? It's only a few years.
Yeah, it's not very long.
I guess they're like early 20s.
Yeah.
I don't think they're 25 yet.
Normalize not having kids till your 30s.
How old are you?
Normalize just not having kids.
When did you have a child?
28.
That's close enough.
Normalize not having kids.
No.
Before you're 25.
Never for me.
Live a little, you know?
Hoe it out.
But no, I don't see how that would serve the plot.
Yeah.
Like it would in fact just be there to be there, and she's not that kind of writer.
Yeah, no.
I was thinking...
No. I don't think she'd do that. In any of the series that she writes.
I was like, is there going to be like a divine child thing? An almighty child?
No, I think where we're going to potentially end up with a child is with this Bellamy plot. Like, if the Princess of Malagasy actually gets what she wants.
Baby traps.
Right, so what they're trying to do, because now that King Marcus is the Phoenix and all of that magic is going to divinely go into Connor's bloodline, they're trying to get it so that it's also their bloodline. So like that's where we'd get a baby if we're getting a baby in this series.
Yeah. Right. That was a plot line.
Yes.
Who is she trying to marry?
Connor.
The Bellamy.
Yes.
That's
why the Malagasy.
Now I'm caught back up.
So that's why they killed the Sarthian princess, and they attempted to kill Angelica as well, but she ran off with her pirate lover.
Okay. For some reason, I was thinking of like an uncle she was trying to get with, and I'm like, what's happening?
I did, in fact, imagine this pirate lover as Killian Jones from Once Upon a Time. Thank you.
Didn't watch the show. I am familiar, though.
Killian Jones from Once Upon a Time. Captain Hook.
Ah, yeah. Yo, did you call... So, so second chapter, basically, that we read was his point of view, talking about how much he didn't like the fiance, the bad dude, right? And I was like, well, he's clearly a good guy. And then you had the princess being like, oh, we're not in love. I was like, well. Like, I smelled bullshit.
I also like that whole little, like, nut thing.
Oh my God, it was so clever.
Yeah.
But even I didn't remember.
I didn't remember.
He just like takes it out of habit because we're having a conversation.
Right? And not even
but you like
kind
of clocked my tea, but also not. And she's like, "You're hi, Cal." He's like, huh?
I'm gonna be leaving at 4.
Who's
by
Cal?
the way. No, he didn't hear me.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad.
Hello, Father.
The painter guy.
Oh. Hey, random dude.
No, he's not attractive.
So anyways, Angelica was really clever, and I'm a little bit sad that like we're not going to get to see more of her, but
I'm sure we will.
I don't think we will.
You think the next
she ran off
the next book is just going to strictly
she ran off with her pirate lover.
Yeah, but like wasn't there a thing there that like it wasn't the right choice? Like he was trying to do something with her, or did they like or something? No, they got
away. They are
just
off living their pirate dreams.
Listen, you never know.
Pop
you
off,
never
sister.
know. Well, no, we are going to see them because that's how Lynn and everyone are going to go across to the wherever they need to. They're in his book or his boat. I mean,
you're right.
They're in his book.
They're in his book.
His book.
You're right. I forgot about that.
I forgot about a lot of things. I'm just here for the ride.
I just want to know how they hid the elephant while they ran away.
That's so true.
How do y'all feel about the elephant and basically her smashing that Foley?
Yeah, I was gonna say the temper tantrum. She's like, "I'll forgive you after I do this one thing," and she gets on her elephant. We think she's gonna leave.
You know what? I support women.
Don't have biblical relations behind a wall.
You could have been seen.
I'll crush the wall.
You could have been seen. Listen,
fucking idiot.
I'm just realizing that I really enjoy intimate scenes that involve storms in the background.
All right, Fourth Wing.
No, actually, I was thinking about A Monsoon Rising.
I haven't read that one yet.
I'm going to leave at 4.
Just me and him in the monsoon.
And now I definitely don't remember what happened in book 1.
I
read it right before book 2 came out, and I just didn't finish.
You're going to leave at 4?
Yeah. I didn't read book 2. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Sorry.
AKA. How dare you?
Telling the guy that I'm like...
7 o'clock our time?
What?
I said AKA 7 o'clock our time?
Yeah.
As I already timed this at 6:16 ages ago.
Well, no, because I'm like, I'm going to leave my house, so like, you can leave, basically.
You got to leave too.
Basically. My dad and sister went to LA.
I did this the wrong way. Ooh, what for?
To pick up my little sister's prom dress.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So, any theories?
I hope Prosper Beck has a prosperous life with Cal.
I like how
they're not going to get their happy ending for another 2 books, babe.
So they're going to get a happy ending.
They're going to be low-key enemies right now.
Yeah, but it's going to be 2 whole books.
We can be together now, but no, we can't, because what did you do? You lied.
Can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Unpleasant. It's truly not a book talk without some kind of difficulty, whether with technology or in the background.
So I think we're going to see the Malgassi princess actually like attempt to court Connor.
Yes.
I think that is where we're going. And then we're also going to see outside of Castellane via Lynn and Aaron.
Mm.
I almost called him Alex, but that's the wrong book.
I feel like we're going to see another house of magic power come up.
I do think we're going to get more magic as we continue down.
You know, it's funny. So in the first book discussion, me and Mary were talking about how this book didn't very feel fantasy, and you're like, yeah, it's not very high fantasy, but then we acknowledged that it's because there was a lack of power. But as you know, obviously the books go on, that power,
we're seeing the power. Yeah,
so I think that's actually a fun
where
concept
the magic is coming in.
Yeah.
Do you think so? Again, in the first book, Mary and I, we discussed how this didn't feel like an adult book, but more of still like an YA. How did y'all feel about this one?
This was adult.
I would say this one felt more adult.
It's still, I wouldn't consider this like if you read adult books, you should read this because you're not going to get what you're expecting out of it. But
I think the thing that so many people continue to forget is that like it's not the content, it's the characters you're reading about.
Yeah.
And so like everyone's like,
but I mean, it's also the writing style, and I
mean, to a degree, it's.
To me, it doesn't feel like too much of a deviation from her YA books. It's
no,
just,
it doesn't, because
that's just her writing style.
That's her writing style.
Yeah.
What we're so used to adult fantasy being old white men with their hard to understand.
I read Realmbreaker,
and I didn't enjoy it.
So like, so many people just equate
in general.
Adult fantasy to being like graphic in your face sex.
I don't really see it that way.
And a lot of murder.
You know what I kind of found annoying, though? And I guess it makes sense. It was convenient. But how many times did we go to the Black House, right? That's what it's called, the Black Mansion, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're chatting, and like Lynn pops up. And I'm like...
It was very convenient that they kept ending up in the same places.
Yeah. I wonder...
I'm also, when you're done screaming over there, I think I'm also really looking forward to all of the plot lines converging because they're all going to work together, very separate, but you can see that they're slowly coming together. So I'm very interested to see how all of these things are going to play.
Prosper Beck and Ragpicker, their crews are going to work together. They mentioned that,
and I know at some point that like Lynn's journey is going to also become a part.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything you said.
I was just saying I think Lynn's journey will also end up playing a big role. Like maybe she's going to go discover something that helps the king, or you know what I mean? Like she's going to go learn something about magic on her destiny, like her journey to this place.
We know that where they're going, she has to basically make that stone her own.
Yeah.
So that way the power that's in there is not coming from the king, the phoenix, but her own within.
Right.
So we do you actually think that she is this priestess anew? Or do you think, because they also said as long as you believe
I don't think it's a misdirect. It's either going to be her or it's going to be someone we've not met before.
I think it's more of it's not. They've been taught that you're just going to one day wake up and realize you're the goddess. I think it's more someone had to just have the fucking guts.
Yeah. I mean, they mentioned that too.
How to use the power.
You just say,
I don't. Right. Like, so I don't know that she is the goddess in the way that the story has been presented to them. But I do think that now she is embodying the goddess and her journey to like reach the magic they need to reawaken the
world. I think they also discuss in this book the power of belief. The Ashgar people believe in it, so they keep going on, you know, like one day we will, one day we'll have this again, so they keep striving for it. And so that in itself is one day I can heal my friend, so I will.
Right. Yeah.
I do think that everyone's paths are going to cross in this next book. It's not going to wait until book 4.
For anyone wondering what that noise is,
because book 4 is going to be
the guy who's fixing my bathroom is also cutting wood to fix said bathroom.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So there's a saw going.
So in case anyone wonders,
it's a power saw.
I was wondering. Thanks for telling me. So yeah,
I feel
the sad part is I think we have a really long wait for the next book.
At least 2 years.
Because we get Wicked Powers first. It's the next Shadowhunters book.
Yeah. Oh, got it. Will I have any... I still stand by... Well, okay. Because we finally have Cal not with Connor and he's, you know, dead and everything, he's going to be looking to who he is as a person, finding out who he is again, you know? So I still stand by fact that his friend from childhood is going to come back into play.
I could see that, yeah. I'm really, really hoping we get Connor POV finally.
I mean, we did.
We did.
But I think more of it, yeah.
Connor
like
POV.
Actual... I feel like it has to. It's 3 separate storylines. They're all... none of them are together. So
we could also just get everything secondhand. So
that's true. You could be learning. But I feel like you have to be in his brain. Screaming. Not done yet.
This unfortunately can't be a very much longer conversation because I need to get dressed real quick to meet with Hero too.
Yeah.
But any last minute I also want to say that I do like this relationships that Connor is going on with having with the king on the hill, or not the hill, in the city, the other princes, you know, like he is, they know more and it's good to connect. And also fuck their fuck the Ashgar people and their beliefs also.
Yeah, that man doesn't want to lose his power. That's what happened. Because when the goddess returns, he's no longer in charge.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, Lynn's friend told the prince, it's like, hey, you don't want to do these things or question these things because of a political thing. But remember, your fucking, your family and what y'all are here for.
Like, your whole fucking job, your whole existence is for you to go support that goddess.
Yep. So, that's what I'm saying. I saw the chemistry. And because you know why? Because he said, oh, I'm used to her being sick, but now look at her hair. He mentioned her hair. Right. And yes, hair can be a very bountiful thing, but calling it now. If they smash.
I could see it.
Anyways, yeah.
This is lovely.
This was fun.
Your pick. Wow. I can't speak English. Your book pick is next.
Oh, yeah.
So think on that.
I was going to look earlier, but I forgot. I decided to watch Severance instead. Anything else that anyone else wants to add?
I think this suffered a little bit, in my opinion, of second book syndrome. And because there's not a third book to immediately push me into it, I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have. I think as a second read through, as we get closer to book 3, I'll appreciate this a lot more. I think it's a good book. There's really nothing inherently wrong with it. I just think not enough was resolved, and we were given more questions than we were answers. But they're intriguing, and they make me want to read more.
There you go.
Cassandra Clare could write a grocery list, and I'd rate it 5 stars.
I feel like we knew this already.
I'll be brutally honest.
But no, I really enjoyed it. I do think there was a little bit of book 2 syndrome, but I always expect it, especially knowing that there's more coming anyways. And there was a lot of moments that I really enjoyed and like kind of kicked my feet up, like reading and whatnot. I felt a range of emotions as I sent you in pictures. So
basically all day yesterday, I sat in my couch that's right there and just read all day. And then last night I was like, well, shit, I still gotta finish a couple of videos for the YouTube. So then my eyes were just like, oh, I didn't finish it. So I finished it today. Well, I actually like this one.
After this,
it wasn't complicated, you know. The first one had so many fucking names. Also, shout out to me for making fun of Connor's name in the first book discussion.
I mean, his name felt very modern for some of the other names that were in there. It felt pretty out of place.
Fucking Connor. I was like, that's the whitest name.
Fancy names, and he's just Connor.
Connor.
She really just wanted him to emulate that white fuckboy energy.
Yes.
Really...
Would you say, who's more of a fuckboy, Connor or Kel, in your opinion?
Connor.
Yeah.
Connor.
Kel literally was only sleeping with one of the whores and was a little bit emotionally attached to her.
He also made out with her brother, or that one brother, the Mirren, whatever.
I do forget that they're fluid.
It's true. There is a lot of bi energy going on.
Bi energy.
It sounds like you're about to be stabbed over there.
Yeah. Should we? I can't help you from here, but I could probably
even close the door
and send him to your house.
Like what we're hearing sounds like that eerie music that plays just before Psycho comes out with the knife.
We're gonna witness her unalive.
I'll let y'all know what the book next book is.
All right, sounds great. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, this was a great time. I always enjoy our chats.
Bye, guys. This was Lucia.
This has been
Katie
and Mary.
And thank you all. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.